Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another live session with the Hype Magazine. I'm your editor-in-chief, Jerry Doby, and today I've got an amazing young lion from the gaming world by the name of Joshua Davis. He is the head of experience at Shrapnel. Now, Shrapnel is a first-person shooter game that is driven by the blockchain. It's the first thing that I've ever heard of on the blockchain as a gaming situation, and actually, they're going to be displaying in Atlanta the 1st to the 5th of September at DragonCon. So, welcome, Joshua, man.
Thanks so much for having me, Jerry. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, man. So, you've got what, 20 years in the digital and analog um, space, bringing experiences to life as they came up with this new word. What is it? Experiential uh,
Yep.
events, right?
Yep.
Uh, and you got a bunch of uh, tell me what's a AAA game. You got like 20 AAA game credits to your name. Uh, I'm not much of a gamer, but I would love to know what that means.
Yeah, sure. It just sounds cool on paper when we write it down. I've been lucky enough in my career to be a part of a lot of really good projects with some pretty incredible people. When we talk about a AAA game, we talk about a specific caliber of quality, content consideration, and sort of distribution, right? So when you talk about your kind of Xbox games and the main games on the main platforms, those are sort of what we refer to in the AAA space. They're the sort of things that, have like 10 to $50 million kind of budgets behind them. So it's the big stuff. And I've been lucky enough to be a part of some stuff like some Bioshocks and Maddens and Halos and some of those more known titles.
Oh, I liked Halo. I liked Halo. I tried to play it a couple of times. I didn't get
Yeah.
very far. But again,
Mm.
of course, it's because the kids kept stealing the controllers. So, Tiger Woods, I'm familiar with. I think
Yep.
that's and Harry Potter.
Yep.
Go
Yep.
ahead.
Harry Potter, some beautiful stuff.
House of Slytherin. There you go. I love it.
Yeah. That's my people.
All right. All right. So talk to us about gaming on the blockchain. And first of all, Shrapnel specifically, it's the
Mm.
world's first blockchain enabled moddable AAA first person shooter game.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, man, it's a mouthful. So I think the important differentiators that we see with Shrapnel are a couple things. One, blockchain is sort of this technology underlaying the thing that we're trying to build here. It powers up a lot of really incredible experiences and leads to the second part of what's unique about Shrapnel is user created content, user generated content's like real important for what we're doing. Part of what we believe in is that if you give the players tools to create the experiences and expressions that they want to be a part of, then we're doing something that empowers them to have gameplay experiences that they want to have, right? And so when we talk about moddable, that's sort of what we're talking about. So we're working on a set of tools that will allow players to come to Shrapnel, play games with their friends on Friday night, have fun shooting each other in the face, gathering the gear and sort of keeping what you take, and then being able to go around the corner and open up a creator tool and start making vanity expressions or creating maps and then putting those back out in the marketplace and sharing them with their friends and engaging in a little commerce there. So that's really kind of the core loop of what we think is going to be special about Shrapnel.
Okay. So you said creating commerce so they can create alternative, you give them the basics to go with, and then they can branch off, develop those things, and bring it back to the marketplace and make some change from it as well.
Yeah, so the idea is that if you allow players the ability to create the things they want and share them with each other or conduct and trade with each other in that marketplace, then the community will sort of bring the content that they want into the experience, right? So yeah, the idea is if you do it right, you can craft some cool stuff. If you're a creator and you want to build a collection that you think is unique to yourself, you can build that persona as a creator within the community. You can take those assets and your creations and you can put them in the marketplace. Other players can come and buy them. And so there is that bit of trade and commerce. And with blockchain, there's some very interesting opportunities in that when I, Joshua, create my unique thing, I can then put that into the marketplace through a process of minting it to the chain. And now what we've done is written the provenance of that asset, right? That thing that I've created is now uniquely mine. There's only one of them. If I only want there to be one of them, I am officially the creator. And no matter what happens with that asset from that point forward, it's always attributed to me. I'm the guy that did the work. And so we think there's something really special about being able to truly understand and know the provenance of things and giving players the ability to build reputations as creators, as curators, as collectors, as hardcore players. And so that's some of the stuff that, us being built on the chain is enabling.
That's one thing that I'm starting to understand, although someone has been trying to teach me about it for a couple of years, way before it's exploded.
Mm-hmm.
They were working with something called Codex Protocol or whatever years ago that kind of started this before OpenSea and all this really branched out. I'm like, so you mean to tell me you create an NFT and that's your work? So you're the Van Gogh right there, and your proof that you're the Van Gogh continues with you down the line. You can't lose it because it's locked into this blockchain thing, basically.
That's right.
Unlike getting a darn what do you call it, an appraisal from some art appraiser and saying, yes, this is really a Van Gogh, and
Yep.
you lose that. So there's provenance. People are saying, what is provenance? Provenance is the proof that this person created this piece of work, and it continues on. And on the blockchain, it automatically continues.
Yep.
And you don't have to worry about losing that little piece of paper, or when you try to go to Antique Roadshow and they say, "What provenance do you have?
Yeah, where's this come from?"
Right.
Yeah,
and
we can look at items and see that. Yeah.
And then on top of that, the original creator, if something is sold, that original creator continues in perpetuity to get income or revenue from whatever happens. Okay. And
yeah, it enables attribution. Yep, absolutely.
Okay. I love it. Musicians wish they had it so good, although they're starting to. So you guys also announced a comic book recently. So that's tying in with, of course, with the gameplay. Talk to me about the Shrapnel comic book.
Yeah. So Shrapnel, the team, is we're a multifaceted group of people that all come from rich storytelling backgrounds, whether it's in interactive content, in game content, in linear content. We all like telling stories. And as part of the world building that we did for Shrapnel, we looked at what would be a cool way to go beyond the game and extend out that would help us build some community and build some world and bring our community into our world before we get the game out there that they can start to play. So what we did is we picked 5 authors, 6 authors technically, because there's 2 authors for book 1. We picked a group of people and all set out to write sort of these stories that take place within Shrapnel. So it's less about telling the story of Shrapnel, the video game, and it's more about picking these moments in time for these special operators and a sliver of their story to exist in the world of Shrapnel. So these are more like stories from the world of Shrapnel than these are the characters you're going to go play in the game, right? And so I was fortunate enough to write book 4, a book called Family Matters, that tells the story of a young woman who's a little bit divergent, little neurodivergent like me. Right. She's just a bit different, but she's a badass. She gets into a little bit of trouble. She's got to go sort of lay low for a bit, but as special operators tend to do, you can't lay too low. And well, the adventure continues, and so we go on this journey with her as she goes through this experience of existing within the world of Shrapnel, where the zone is sort of our sacrifice zone is now normalized. Being a special operator is a job description. It's sort of a thing that people do, and so it lays out from the very beginning of Earthfall, which is like that first impact when this big asteroid hits the moon. It kind of blows some debris out and then starts raining debris down on the planet over the course of about 10 years, where each of the characters in each of the books all come back together in book 5, and they sort of go on this ragtag mission. And it's a really, book 5 is a really great adventure, super fun story. And that was written by a gentleman called Mark Yeen, who is a member of the studio, head of our marketing crew, and also a great storyteller. So yeah, so we put these books together. They're really fun books. It's a really fun collection. We're pretty stoked on how it sets the tone and how it sort of tells the pieces of the Shrapnel story within the world. And so yeah, that's what we did. We put the books together. We took the Ashcan to Comic-Con and started telling people about it there. And then we just finished the production of the last book, and that is now going with us to Dragon Con. And so we'll be at Dragon Con with physical and digital, sharing the comic books and talking about Shrapnel the game.
Okay. You guys are on the leading edge of a new change, a new dynamic in storytelling
Yeah.
for games. I mean, I played, like Diablo, and the storytelling in there is a pain in the neck because you got to read all this stuff. How are you differentiating with Shrapnel versus, let's say, the knucklehead storytelling that's going on in Fortnite and this, that, and the third? Or talk to me about the difference.
Sure. So because we're a multiplayer game versus a first person, or a single player game, we're not going to have these long, deep linear story lines that you're going to follow through.
Okay.
We think that by crafting the world and allowing the world to have individuality and storytelling, we're sort of setting players up to have a unique story per gameplay session. So they get to like craft their own story and go on their own adventure. And there is a component of the lore of the world and the overarching story of the competing factions and some of those aspects. But the difference is you're going to go and live your own version of the story within the world. The main story plays out around you as part of the missions that you go on and the battles that you have. And then as players, you actually are able to then contribute back to the overarching story, right? With doing Web3 style game development, which is very different than the old way of making games, and we're really excited about going there. It gives us the opportunity to involve our community in that storytelling. And so our community is going to be able to come to us and bring the story to Shrapnel in a way that's going to be really unique.
Okay. So you've got your own voting system to help let them weigh in on game development and
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Well, hell, that's different. Excuse my language.
No, yeah.
That that's pretty dope. Right now, is the community invite only as you're launching?
We
Or is it ready to
want
roll?
everyone. Yeah, we're
Okay.
ready to go. You can come jump into our Discords, hang out with the community. We do regular events. We have a regular AMA Fireside Friday where we hang out and just shoot the breeze with the community. It's less about making games at that point and more about the people that are making the game. We're fans and players and fanatics as well, and it's really cool to be able to hang out with the community. And so a case in point of community involvement on our project recently was we have this thing called a canister, which is this device that holds a material that's the key component of playing the game, called Sigma. And we designed these canisters and we put out the designs to the community and asked the community to vote on which one they thought would be the coolest one, and they voted. And so that became the canister that we now see in the key art, in the comic book, in our short productions. It is now canon within Shrapnel, that community decision, and that's how we're thinking about doing everything moving forward and making sure the community is a part of that.
Okay.
So yeah, come jump into the community and get your voice heard.
Okay. I asked this question, and I asked this question of producers and musicians because they hear and see thousands, millions of sounds and things like that.
Mm.
And you, over a couple of decades here, have played and developed and seen many multitudes of games. Are you able to just play the game now and vibe out, or are you always analyzing?
Man, that's a good question. As an experienced designer, I have spent a very long time trying to cultivate what I call the beginner's mindset.
Mhm.
And what that means is I try really hard to separate my skill set and my work from my approach to the world so that I'm always trying to get a fresh new experience. So instinctually, I sort of assess the moments that I'm going through. When I'm standing in line at the store, how's it set up and what does it look like? Or when I boot up that game, how did they set up the environment, whatever. But I still very much try to unplug from that analytical assessment of the thing and go on the truest version of that experience that I can. I love climbing into a new game and sort of turning my brain off so that I can let just everything come in and sort of saturate in it. And then after playing for a little while, I'll then start to get critical. I'll go push at the edges of the system and figure out where I can go bump into a wall or come off the edge or find a little exploit or whatever. But in those first moments, it's important for me as a creator that somebody take the time to experience the thing that we spent so much time creating. And so I like to show the same respect to the creators of work that I choose to engage in, so that I can try to experience their the trueness of their creation without bringing my analytical side to it. it's
Okay.
it's tricky, but I try real hard.
I was gonna say, after as much experience as you have, you've seen pretty much all the tricks of the trade and the new developments, you
Yeah.
know, and sometimes you'd be like, well, why did they do that? Or where did that come in to instead of just being able to play the darn game and
Yeah.
just go for it. So, good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting.
What is the most fun for you being part of the Shrapnel family? After having accomplished everything that you've accomplished, you've done it all. Now, what's the fun part of doing this?
Jerry, I think you said it. It's being part of the Shrapnel family. Um, this is one of the most talented teams I have ever been a part of in the entirety of my career. Many of these people I've worked with throughout the course of my career, so I know them well. I trust them. I know that they're the best in the business. They're the best at their craft. They are capable and competent game makers and creators. And more importantly, I know that what we're doing is pretty challenging, and it's going
Mhm,
to take that family type level of connection with each other to be able to see this thing through the way that we want to.
mhm,
And so I think that on the human side of the coin, the most fun for me is going to work every day. It's being awed and inspired by the stuff that the people in the studio are creating, and constantly feeling like I need to step my game up, right? And that's my favorite part about the human side of Shrapnel is the caliber of talent and the awesomeness of the people. The other side of that is, as a designer, my set of tools is specifically designed to solve problems, right? That's all we do is we look at the world and think about what we're trying to do and then try to solve the series of problems that get the user into the thing that we're trying to do and reduce the friction or add friction where it's relevant to the experience we're building, right? And the problems that I've solved throughout the course of my career have been vast, and I've been lucky that they're always at the bleeding edge. And here again, I find myself at the forefront of game development, a new way of making games with deep community involvement, at the forefront of technology where blockchain as an underlying technology is going to empower new experiences that have never been seen before. Those, like being at the bleeding edge of the unknown and the fact that nobody's really successfully accomplished what we're trying to do yet. And if we do it right, we might be the first. And we're hoping that in partnership with the community, we can get there. But those are, on the human side and on the work side, those are, I think, the two things that really get me excited to go to work every day.
mm, okay. What's the most important thing you think we should know about the development of Shrapnel and the process of getting it to where you hope it to go?
Mm. Yeah, that's a good question. There's a couple of pieces. One, making games of the caliber we're trying to make takes a long time. Traditional game development cycle at this scale is a 2 to 4 year proposition. And in the Web3 world, the world moves at a whole different pace. The duration of projects going out, the time to things in customers' hands, it's much, much faster. And so we are changing the way that we make games and the way that we expose community to content, but it still takes time, right? To hit that high quality bar that we're looking for with the most awesome version of a thing that we can do, you know, that is a thing that takes time. It goes through multiple iterations, and we're what we're trying to do is be really transparent about that, to help educate people who traditionally, they go to the shop, they buy the game, they go play the game, they have no idea that 50,000 hours went into the animation sets, right? Like they just don't know. And so part of what we're trying to do is open the door of development to the community, let the community come in and actually see what it is that we do, go on the journey with us, and learn what it takes to actually get to that quality bar. I think that's that's the first thing. And the second thing is, with community involvement, it's learning the right way to, both as the creators, create this thing that we want to create and have it be a good, fun gameplay experience, but also allow the community to contribute to that, and finding the equilibrium of what those voices look like. That's a thing we're still mixing down, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I got to say that it'd just be nice if the people who ran the world had that same outlook. And
Wouldn't it be? Wouldn't it be?
let the end user have some input as to how
Mhm.
things should go, and how do we make this a beautiful, beautiful world. This sounds like an amazing, I'm not really I came back from Afghanistan and I tried to play Call of Duty and all that,
Mm.
and there were way too many triggering moments, and then just people pissed me off by running around shooting willy-nilly.
Yep.
So
Little respect for trigger control, huh?
I'm just like, yeah, something different about this here. I couldn't play it after a couple of times. I'm like, my kids, I'm like, bro, I'm not, no, I'm
Got
not,
it.
because
Yeah.
this is how you clear a room. This is not how you clear a room. And you guys are really irritating me. So
Yeah, man. We were we were in Vegas at a training, and we got to witness that with some very, very talented people clear a room, and the difference between how people play games and how that stuff's done in the real world. Man, that level of respect for true operators is so high at Shrapnel. So high.
yeah,
Deep respect.
yeah, it's a whole different world. So I would love to experience Shrapnel. And so is this, how do we access this? Is it through a unit, or is it, how do we get to Shrapnel?
Yeah, totally. So Shrapnel will be the PC based game.
Okay.
So we're targeting keyboard, mouse, and controller inputs. We are on PCs. Distribution is going to be direct, right? We have some other options that we're continuing to evaluate, but we want to reduce the friction as much as possible to get players into the experience. So you'd come and sign up, shrapnel.com. Once we flip the switch and the doors are open for people to come and check it out, you would just sign up, and that gets you into the game. You can jump in, start playing. If it's a thing that you're enjoying, you can go as far as you want, class up, level up, skill up as far as you want to go. But it's free to jump in and start playing. No money, no nothing. Real easy sign up. Just come and check out the game and play.
Wow, no money?
Yeah, I mean, we want to let everybody come play. Like, we're trying to make something that people can come play, and there's components where where you'll be able to, like, buy gear and buy vanity and do that
Okay.
kind of stuff, right? Of course. So there's transactionality, but I'm not gonna charge you. We're not selling the game. You're just gonna come jump in and start playing and figure out where you fit into the Shrapnel world, and you can go as deep and far as you want to go.
Okay. So free to play, got
Yep.
in-app purchases, as they call it in the apps, you know what I mean, which is fair. And that's pretty dope. What
Well,
about
and for
pack
for
users?
the yeah, for the purchasing, the key there is, it's about the community being able to purchase from the community,
Mhm.
more so than necessarily the community having to purchase from us. So it's not a, like, pay to play kind of a thing. It's much more like, we want to put out a very robust set of tools that allow the community craft their own experience and pay to play with each other as opposed to us necessarily. So that's where the sort of money side of the equation comes into play. Is, I want to empower you as a creator to go and create really dope skins and then put those in the marketplace, and then somebody like me who really likes that skin you made to come and buy that from you. And since I'm buying it from you, the benefit model there is for you, the creator, and that's the thing that we're trying to kick up.
Huh, that's pretty dope. I like it. I like it a lot.
Cool.
Is there anything that you wanted to cover, Joshua, that I may have neglected?
Yeah, I mean, I think, the most important thing for us is that people understand our approach to why blockchain and what it means for us. And the metaphor that we found is helping people get it a little bit more than like the misconception in the news and people hearing about the crazy expensive JPEGs and things like that. It's the technology, right? So what regular users of the internet don't realize is TCP/IP is what powers it all, right? But nobody talks about it. They talk about the rad YouTube video that they just sent you a link to, or that awesome story they just posted on Instagram.
Right.
For us, blockchain is the same thing as TCP/IP. It's an underlying technology that enables us to create a really awesome first-person shooter. As a first-person shooter, as a game studio, our focus is making a really awesome game. It's all about that gameplay, moment to moment fun, and empowering the community to do business with each other, and have fun shooting at each other. And that's really, that's really the core of what Shrapnel is. And it's it is our opportunity to help drive the game industry forward. And that's the thing I think that as a studio we're most excited about and want to make sure that we get to share with the world is, come join us in that kind of revolution. Come be a part of it. And yeah, that's the main thing. Come be a part of the community. Help us make this thing.
Okay. Last question. As a leader
Mm.
in the new Web3 gaming experience and all this stuff, what type of responsibilities and checks and balances will you have to ensure
Mm.
that people aren't abusing each other and the system, you know what I mean, and adulterating the experience?
Yeah, that's such a good question. There's more than two, but I'll try and focus on two aspects of it. The first is when you take anonymity and give it to people, people tend to devolve very quickly. You had mentioned earlier about your experience in another game where people were just running around willy nilly shooting at whatever and getting kind of out of hand, right? Um, when you put a group of people together, there's often divergence in their thinking, and people want to do different things with their experience. And having a healthy community is very, very important for us. We want everybody to be able to come, regardless of what their background is, regardless of who they are, how they represent. None of that is a gating factor. All are welcome. But when you put all in a room, all can get out of control a little bit. And so providing mechanisms to empower our community to keep the community healthy is paramount for us. It's for me as an individual, one of the most important aspects of building Shrapnel is ensuring that we empower the community to be as healthy and positive as they can. Granted, the subject matter can get negative in that you're shooting each other in the face
Right,
for
right.
funsies. But the reality is we all share a passion, and if we can empower the community to share that passion together and find the right equilibrium, then you can allow people that are a little more boisterous or people that are a little more mellow to kind of equalize with each other and find a harmony that makes sense. So building a healthy and positive community is really, really important on this side. On the other side, I think it is ensuring that the checks and balances are in place economically to be successful as an economy, as a thriving economy. And so we sought out some of the best economic minds out there, PhD level, economists, to create our underlying economy framework to ensure that what we were putting out there wasn't just hopes and dreams, but it's actually a fundamentally developed economy that balances out the way that it needs to balance, to ensure that, Toby from Wichita, Kansas can come and create a thing and contribute it to the ecosystem, as well as, this guild over here or clan or DAO or whatever group of people that have massive purchasing power. They can also come in and contribute, and both have an equal opportunity within the marketplace. And so our marketplace will be unique in that players will be able to stake against items to curate those items to drive discovery in the marketplace. So it's really the community gets to control all of that stuff, and finding the right way to empower them to do that while reducing all the exploitive nature of it is where we're trying to spend a lot of time, at least my team, thinking through how the marketplace works and how the creator tools work and how community integrates with all those things. And so those are the primary mechanisms that we're trying to maintain a good equilibrium. We're going to get it wrong, and it's on our community to help us get it right, and it's on us to make sure that we're listening to our community and doing our best to get it right.
Man, for all you people who thought statistics and sociology and psychology had no place in your education and you weren't going to be able to use those degrees on anything, trust me, gaming has given you another space to utilize those skill sets that you studied and worked so hard to master while you're in school. And then it also gives you an opportunity just to remember how to be a good person,
Yeah.
how to not be a shitty person. So
Yeah.
I absolutely, I love it. So I'm really excited about Shrapnel. I hope that Joshua, you'll come back and give us updates as you get ready
Absolutely.
to absolutely go live. Is there a target date to actually go live and be ready for the general public?
Yeah, so we're pushing for an early playable experience the first of the year. And then we're targeting sort of a near, Q3, Q4 of the next evolution of what that looks like next year. And so we're rapidly in development. The easiest way to get your hands on the earliest access to what we've got going on is to get into the community. Come hang out on our Discord. You can get there, shrapnel.com, join our community button right at the bottom. Jump into the community. We are sharing out concept art, development art, interviews, the vision of the game. We do it regularly. We're trying to open the doors of game development and get everybody aware of what we're doing. And our community will be the first people with hands on what we have as soon as we have something for them to put hands on.
Oh, I appreciate it. All right, Shrapnel is the game. It's on the blockchain. You guys that are blockchain freaks will love it. Those of you who are gaming freaks will love it. Me, in my semi-retirement, I'm going to love it because it's going to give me an opportunity to really sink my teeth into something. We've had Joshua Davis. He is the head of experience at Shrapnel. They are exhibiting at Dragon Con in Atlanta on Thursday, September 1st through Monday, September the 5th. Go check them out at shrapnel.com, sign up for their newsletter, join the Discord if you're a gamer or you're just interested in the blockchain and how community works and interested in maybe networking with some great people that think outside the box. Sounds like a really great place to be. Joshua, I want to thank you so much. As I said, open invitation for you to come back and let's discuss. And I actually have a gaming section, so I'd love to fill it out with some really great value-added conversations and things like that. So you're most welcome anytime.
Absolutely, Jerry. Thank you so much for having me. And I just want to build on something you said about, the idea that the things that we are learning in schools, math, science, psychology, a lot of that stuff is making some really smart people. And intelligence is different for everybody. And here at Shrapnel, we're building our team out. And so I just wanted to throw it out there that there's also a career sections on shrapnel.com. If you got something awesome to bring to the table, go check it out, see if there's something there for you. You can be a part of our community and come make the game, or you can come join the Shrapnel family. All doors are open, and we want everybody to come find a place with Shrapnel. Appreciate being able to come hang out with you, Jerry. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you taking the time, Joshua. All right, everybody, the Hype Magazine live sessions. Joshua Davis, Shrapnel. Go to shrapnel.com. Check it out. Till next time, peace.
Thanks, Jerry. Have a great day.